Kenny B, Smoke and Mirrors. What's up, sir?
Chilling like a villain. How about you?
Yo, I see you got your crew behind you. What's up?
Yeah, man. Don't mess with
The
me.
Kente crew.
Don't mess with me. Got Chucky Chuck in the back, Shoomy Shoom, and
You know how we do.
Nancy the Gray Girl Pelosi in the back. Play nothing but
Chuck,
Tina. She got nothing but Tina Marie playing in her office.
and Chuck Schumer, the B-boy. He ready to break dance right now.
Her and James Clyburn were at a karaoke singing Fire and Desire.
Fire and Desire.
She was hitting them Tina Marie notes. Yeah, that's the Kente Cloth crew, White Conda.
Yo, so much to talk about this week, man. First off, of course, relate to the rest of our brother George Floyd. Also, man, these companies got all kind of money. They did not like this time last year. These companies told you Black Lives Matter is about disrespecting the flag and anti-police officers, but now they are writing that check, Kenny B.
Yep.
What a difference a day makes or a year makes.
2 weeks makes.
Yes.
Yep.
Also, the Nancy Pelosi, as you can see behind you, taking a stand and doing whatever that is behind you. She did that. Okay.
Yep.
And I posted that and I got attacked by some people. We'll talk about that later. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
We should be glad that they just trying to understand us.
Right.
You're cracking jokes.
Not impressed. I'm not impressed. Not impressed.
Yeah. All right. So, and across the country, there's talk of defunding the police departments. Is that safe?
Oh,
Can we do it?
For who? For me? I'll be safe. But, and probably rich.
Exactly. All right, exactly. Hey, and I have a question, man. Has Trump fixed the economy and cured Corona? I saw some numbers today. What up, though?
I'm just saying, it can't be your fault. And if it gets better, it ain't your fault that it got better. I don't know, but something's up. The economy something's up. Corona's down. Economy's back up. Something worked. So I don't know who fixed it. It was Biden who fixed it. Biden fixed it.
It must have been Biden. It must have been Biden.
When he came out the basement.
He's in the closet too. I ain't judging him.
No, that's Leslie Graham in the closet.
Yes, let's get it right. Let's get it right. All right. So listen, you mentioned the economy. Bob Johnson is trying to energize Black folks' economy. Cash at me. Where my money at? Where my money at?
14 trillion.
With a T?
14 trillion.
With a T.
With a T. Just to the descendants of slaves. So if you're a descendant of slaves and you can prove it.
My uncle.
$350,000 per.
My uncle
cash
was a slave.
to the monies. Cash
My
to the
uncle
monies.
was a slave.
Yeah. That was his name, Uncle Slavey.
Uncle Slavey.
Uncle Slavey.
I call him us.
No,
all right.
So real talk. My daughter did the little DNA thing, and she found the plantation that my family was from. She wanted to sue the plantation descendants in Maryland. But I'm not talking no more. I ain't talking no more. None of your business.
Your million is dropped to 300,000. Good job, Kenny.
350,000. That's what everybody.
That's all you get.
That's it. Yep.
All right, man. So we watched the homegoing for our brother George Floyd, and you know this like I do. No one does a homegoing. First off, homegoing is just a term that we use. So for first off, thank you for all the people that we had over 12,000 views in the last week. So thank you all that have been watching and sharing and liking. So for our non people of color, a homegoing in our community is funeral. So when we say homegoing, our brother George had an amazing homegoing tour across the country in Minnesota, in Houston, DC, I think. So
tour.
It was
they had tickets on StubHub.
They had scalpers.
The whole nine. But that's beautiful that there was that much support in the
well
community.
Deserved, yes, sir.
Yeah. And what's crazy is they stopped Corona to make sure everybody can go out to the funeral. Because 2 weeks ago, no funerals. You go to a funeral, knocking you upside the head just for being at a damn funeral. Now, the circumstance is a little different.
Yeah, it was. I understand. From my understanding, it was almost standing room only, like with a club, like one person out, one person in. You got to have
And Reverend Al pitching to get Colin Kaepernick back into the NFL, because that is what will fix black people problem.
Hey, listen, to our discussion last week, Roger Goodell, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
We hear what you're saying. What you gonna do about it?
That's right. Give Colin back his job. And as soon as Colin is playing in the NFL again, no more black violence from police officers. That's what I'm talking about. It's just that easy to fix. Let us take a knee, and now no more knees on our neck.
Yeah, exactly. So what kneel are we talking about? So there's a kneel behind your shoulder. We're going to come to that one later. So let's talk about this whole Corona thing. So you said 2 weeks ago we could not go out, couldn't go to funerals, and now it's like, you know what, go out, protest. So
that's right.
What's going on with this Corona stuff?
So now you got 14 states that are saying that their numbers are at the highest that they've ever been. But the national numbers across the country, it's going down. So in March, like April, we were at like 16,000 new cases a week, that kind of deal. Like last week, we were at like 1,400 new cases across the country. So, and now we're, month to date, we're not approaching back to 15, 16,000. So the question is whether or not the opening of all these states, obviously Georgia has not crept on. Georgia's not one of those 14, and we were one of the first states to open up, but Texas is one of the first states to open up, and they're showing record high numbers of Corona in Texas. Arizona showing record high numbers now. Right. So, so in some areas the numbers are up, but the New York numbers were really driving it initially, right? New York was getting 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a day. So that was really pushing the national average. But now that New York has sort of normalized and flattened the curve, now you've got other areas that weren't really affected, getting affected now. And it's about 2 weeks since the Memorial Day. So that's when folks were getting together and partying. And then now you got more confidence. And now we're out there protesting and the social. But what was funny, right? 2 weeks ago, the white people who were so disappointed about being stuck in the house because they said that if the economy crashes, we'll kill ourselves. So, more people are going to die from being broke than from Corona. So open the businesses back up. And they showed up with their guns and surrounded the state house in Michigan and all that kind of stuff. And everybody made fun of them. But now we have a cause and we're doing the same thing, right? But here's what's funny. The people who we were making fun of and ridiculing for going out there, now those are the same ones who, when they wanted to go out there, they were cool with it. But now that we want to go out there, they're like, yeah, shoot them with the pepper bullets. And
it's not safe. It's not safe.
And tear gas them, right? So it's just that the hypocrisy that just lives on both sides of the fucking aisle in this country.
Yo, you mentioned pepper bullets, right? So they got rubber bullets. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Rubber don't hurt.
Yeah.
When it's shot from a gun. I saw people, you see the people have like a rubber bullet hanging out of their forehead, bleeding.
Yeah.
Is that like non-lethal?
That's what it is. It's non-lethal.
It's a bullet.
And it's non-crippling, right? It'll knock you down. But what happens is when you go to jail, you're still healthy enough to work. They can still turn a profit on you. For real. That's what all those non-lethal weapons are for. It's not to be nice to us and shit. Like, oh, no. Don't hurt them. They don't mind hurting us. That's what George Floyd proved. They don't mind hurting us. Those non-lethal weapons are so that they can knock us down, take us down, without doing damage to us, so that we don't have a huge medical expense while we're in prison, but instead they can farm our labor out and we can be, slaves for 5-10 years. That's what those non-lethal joints are.
Right. Kenny, I'm so glad that you said that, brother. And I don't believe that America understands what happened in slavery. So I'm so thankful that over your right shoulder, our sister is standing for the cause. Do you want to unpack that? First off, why is she wearing a bra on her face? That is not a face mask. That's a left titty bra. That is not a face mask. What kind of face mask is that?
I don't know what kind of face mask. None like one I've seen. That's like a scarf or something. Yeah. So yeah, she didn't go full face mask. Can you tell
our folks that what is she saying with this? Go.
I don't know what the hell she's saying with this. This shit befuddles me. I don't have a clue.
What they thought forever.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. Pelosi Matata. I don't know what.
Pelosi Matata.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pelosi Matata.
Hakuna Mashuma. Hakuna Chuck Schumer. This is what I'm saying though. But this is shit I'm always talking about. This is what we get from Democrats, and we give them votes, and they win, and then they get in office, and this is the type of respect that they send our way when shit's going down. But this is all about making sure all right, just chill out. We get you. Somebody's on your side. We're standing in solidarity with you. We've
Kenny.
seen enough of these videos too. That's
Bro,
all
they
they really
attacked
mean.
me, bro.
But the
I got
optics
attacked.
of it is hilarious. Me too.
I got attacked.
Yeah.
I just put it out there. I said, "Oh, Tribe Called Congress," and I said, "Oh, look, it's the step team, the U.S. Congress step team," and I got some messages like, "This is no time to be funny. They're trying to help the cause.
Right.
Kente is a beautiful cloth of our descendants, bruh."
Right.
Like, really? Really?
Right.
So you
Yeah.
believe the Kente cloth is gonna make it all better?
Yeah, that's just showing. See, I don't see that as them showing us which team they on. I think they showing us who they showing the other side who they think they own. You know what I mean? That's more of the psychology that I think is there.
See what you did there. Okay.
We project onto other people our good qualities. That don't mean that they really deserve that kind of assumption of good intention. End of the day, now Nancy Pelosi, she votes on good shit. I had to go do a little research on it and shit. Yeah, a lot of the issues where I wanted to trap up, she voted correctly on a lot of stuff with prison reform and all that kind of stuff. So I won't say that she's like a Joe Biden or one of like the guy from West Virginia, that Democrat. But this kind of stuff, this is not what folks expect. And this is
what was their friends at? Where was Cory Booker saying, you know what? That's not a good idea.
Somebody from the CBC gave it to him. Like, yo, we got the idea.
Yes, bruh.
We know. I know how to get the black vote, calm everybody down.
Hey, put this on y'all's shoulders, baby.
That's
Go on back there behind your shoulders,
and it worked. And it worked. If they'd have just had Kangols and Kazals.
If you don't know, now you know. Kente cloth. Listen, so when I was out there with the post I did, and someone out in California said, first of all, those were donated by the Congressional Black Congress. And I wanted to say, so what has the CBC done for us
lately? Yeah, not much.
Man, so look, I know it comes with the territory. If you're out there, if everyone likes you, you ain't doing your job. So if someone, I took those hits and I said, okay, so where was somebody saying, you know what, maybe not, don't do that.
No.
And it'd be different if they were like in a chair and seated. She has like, we are the Congress.
Right. Yo, that's
to represent, and we are going to step. Can't take off.
No, it looks like remember the Justice League when we were kids?
Superheroes?
Yeah, this is the Injustice League.
Injustice League.
Ta-ta! Form of an ice prison.
Shape of stopping black oppression.
Shape of a prison dog.
In a bucket.
Yeah, it's right.
One twin racial activism activate.
I don't. And the white people are the ones in front. It's like,
oh my goodness.
And they're leading the charge for it.
Look at Schumer's face. What is his face saying?
Oh, I'm your white hero. I'm your white hero. I'm your white
hero. I'm here for you.
We'll save you. We'll save you, black people. Just vote for us. Give us your vote. We'll save your life.
Whenever they look over their glasses, never trust someone that looks over their glasses.
Yeah, man. Why you got your readers on if you ain't reading?
Exactly. He is reading the mind of what he thinks that we want to hear.
This is just...
Man, like I got beat up on social media about this. I said, you know what? I understand. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But if you believe Kente cloth is going to change the world, have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about these companies that are out of nowhere saying Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
Sir, you can't even go on Indeed to look for a job without it flashing Black Lives Matter. I'm like, I was just trying to look for a job. Okay.
Right.
I'm trying to find something in IT.
Right.
Speaking of IT, it matters. Just like Black Lives. Like what?
Right. Yeah.
Bruh,
but meanwhile, black unemployment is 50%. White unemployment is going down. Black unemployment is going up. But Indeed and Monster.com is they Black Lives Matter. But not black employment apparently. So everybody's opening their stores back up and bringing all the. So Asian people aren't getting rehired. Wonder why right now. And black people aren't getting rehired. Wonder why right now. So Asians get a taste of black life right now. So Asian lives and Black Lives matter right now. At least Asian employment and black employment matter right now.
it's way deeper than that. Not just Indeed, Nike, which is cool. Just don't do it. All right.
Jeff
Twitter.
Bezos told 2 entire customers, don't even shop here no more.
Y'all can go ahead and leave. Oh, both of y'all.
Pay for your cable if you don't like it.
Yes.
Throw the fire
We're
stick
going to be
away.
okay without you 2 customers.
Throw the fire stick away and pay for your cable then.
Hey, so why did he have to screenshot him disagreeing? This is what I told him. You know what? I'm okay losing a customer like you.
Right.
That's one of 3 million people that you have.
Yeah, Mr.
All right, so
$60 billion.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Citigroup, Netflix, of course, Amazon. Hey, Kenny, whoever thought the day would come when NASCAR would say Black Lives Matter?
Yeah. Bubba Wallace.
Come on, buddy.
I didn't even know Bubba Wallace was black. I kept hearing the name.
Surprise!
That's how much I watch NASCAR. And now Bubba Wallace, like, oh, it's the brother.
Did somebody say black? I'm black.
Right.
By the way, hey, you thought like me, only thing black in NASCAR is the tires.
Tires and the oil. But
That's it, and the oil.
Apparently not. Apparently not. Not anymore. But that's
clearly.
So that's what it shows, right? This is the legacy of one President Barack Hussein Obama and one First Lady Michelle Obama. Here's why. Because you have a generation of youngsters. And it's always youngsters who change the shit. It was Martin Luther King used the youngsters. He didn't use old folks our age to go out there and do shit. It was college students and high school students that make the difference and make the change. You get their minds, and then they bring that thinking into the future as they take charge of the country and the world. Those kids grew up with a badass, clean-cut, cool, swag-having ass black president that you can't undo. You can't unsee what you saw. So now he humanized us in a way that nobody since probably Michael Jackson did. Really, when you think about it, how Michael Jackson got us accepted in every house across the world, at least through his record. Now you have Barack Obama doing the same thing throughout the country to children. Parents can think whatever they want to think, but children know what they see. And he was such a great example. So now you've got this energy that used to be acceptable, that I think, man, it's that the Barackians, folks had enough.
Barackians?
The Barackians. That's what I'm gonna nickname them. But folks have had enough. So I think a lot of this is legitimate. And so that's why these corporations, these marketing firms, they've done the data, they've done the polls, they know what side of the fence that makes the money and which one is gonna lose their money, and they're siding with the money. That's the best vote that you can have, where you spend your money. So if you don't like the way somebody behaves, Wendy's, you're donating your money to Trump, and all these companies, Waffle House donating all this money to Trump, stop spending over there, and spend over here. So they recognize that. That's why. So that is pretty cool to see all that. All that.
Let me know if Popeye's Chicken donates money to Trump.
Man, yeah, no, I hope not.
That ain't gonna happen. Okay, all right.
Chicken sandwiches, have to. Sandwiches is dipped in MAGA sauce.
MAGA sauce.
I don't want to find out that the chicken sandwiches is dipped in MAGA sauce. That'd be no bueno.
Oh, speaking of MAGA sauce, so it's not just NASCAR.
Yeah.
So I saw even K3 came out with a comment about black. You know who K3 is?
No.
The Ku Klux Klan.
Oh.
They said Black Lives Matter, buddy, but just not around us. I just made that up. I made it up. That didn't happen. I lied. I lied. All right. Yeah. So, but listen, no, really though. So what's happening, like in the corporate area, in arena, executives in the C-suite area, the CFOs, the CEOs, there's pressure.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Kenny.
Financial pressure. We're $1.3 billion to spend. Yeah.
Yo, Kenny, I'm just saying, off the record, you've been there. So is this opportunistic? Do you say, you know what? Oh, wow, we should say something. We need to make a statement.
Yes.
We should jump in because I think whether they mean it or not, it's good for the cause because we can hold you accountable because 3 years from now, we can say 2020, large corporation, you said we support Black Lives Matter, but you've done nothing since then.
Yeah, 3 years is a long time to wait, but for nothing.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But once you put it out there saying we support Black Lives Matter,
Prove it.
you be held accountable.
That's the point. Is to prove it. Prove it. Show and prove. Don't talk about it. I appreciate you talking about it. That's a step in the right direction. But what's the show and what's the prove, right? So how do you don't wait 3 years. You ask for something right now today. Because if Black Lives Matter, they got to matter to us too. And if they matter to us, what's the ask? So if there's no ask, then it's all word salad, gobbledygook. It won't matter. It won't fix anything. It won't undo anything. So. But I appreciate the sentiment. At least you can tell the mood of the country has shifted, and that bodes well even in talking about defunding police, right? Because if you're gonna defund police, you got to replace them with something. And there's that's an interesting topic that folks are pretty sensitive about right now. The Democrats don't want us saying defund the police because defunding the police creates a talking point for the Republicans that undermines the value of that thinking process of what defunding the police actually means.
Right. Kenny.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I hear you. Let's come back to that. Let's finish up about this. So let's talk about some of this money. So when Amazon's donated $10 million,
yeah,
700,000 from Away, which is a traveling luggage company. Zuckerberg has donated $10 million. Uber gave $1 million. So should we watch and see, okay, so what y'all doing with this money, Black Lives Matter? Can y'all get some better t-shirts? Now I'm just saying, so do we watch, do we hold them accountable because we see the money being donated?
So all that money donated, how much money was that?
All right, so this is just a cursory glance. Amazon gave $10 million to 4 organizations. Apple, so they're very careful. We're not going to tell you who we gave it to.
Yeah.
We gave a substantial amount to multiple donations and companies.
Substantial, okay.
Yeah, so to organizations that support the cause. Smoke and mirrors, we support the cause. Can I hold something?
Right,
Apple?
can I hold a little something?
Give me a little something,
Something. Right.
Rent finna be due, mortgage, all that. Coca-Cola said they will be donating to companies. They will be donating to companies.
Check us in the mail. Check us in the mail.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
What does that mean? What is that? Zuckerberg, $10 million to groups working on racial justice. Uber gave $1 million. YouTube gave $1 million to Center for Policying Equality. Who is that? Is that one of their companies?
It's Cipica.
Hey, and Uber Eats saying, look, we ain't got that kind of money. We're not gonna charge black restaurants to deliver. That's what Uber Eats did.
That's nice as well. So let's just add that.
They get in where they fit in.
Let's add that up and let's double it. Let's say the other company, there's that other companies did the same and doubled it, right? I mean,
all right, let's say about this. Roughly, let's say about 30 million.
Let's say 80. Let's make it 80.
Okay.
Let's make it 80 million. And there are about 42 million black people here. 45 million black people here. So that's like $1.10 a piece. Thank you. Just send it out to everybody. It's $1.10 a piece.
No,
so
you're a numbers guy.
I appreciate that the contributions, but $10 million from Amazon, bro. Jeff Bezos has to spend about $30 million a day to not get richer. He has to spend $30 million a day to not get richer. I appreciate 10 million, but 10 million is nothing.
So Ken, so you want Jeff Bezos to give us reparations?
Bob Johnson wants somebody to give us reparations to the tune of
with a T
trillion.
That's with a T.
Yeah, I mean, I don't knock what they're saying, right? But at the end of the day, you got to think about it. It's all numbers and math to me, right? Thank you for $40 million. There's 45 million of us. $1 to every black person in America is not going to fix Black America's problems or even remotely solve anything. It won't. It's a nice gesture, and it indicates a willingness to work with us. But we can't be so easy to accept such small gifts and call you friend. We need to ask for what we need. And then when you ask for what you need of folks who have their pocket open, if they want to help, it doesn't have to come from their pocket, but help us get it from the country in the form of reparations and restitution for what our ancestors had to forego that they couldn't pass down to our generations the same way that Caucasian family members are able to pass down
Right.
to their,
So,
to their
so Kenny,
grandchildren and stuff.
so you're missing. So make sure not, we want our listeners to know there's a middleman. We didn't get that money. They sent
Right.
that to Black Lives Matter, NAACP.
Exactly.
So my question to you is, do we like watch them and say, all right, so hey, we saw y'all got like 40 million, so what y'all gonna do with it? Or do we trust the cause and say,
Yeah, you got to trust the cause. You got to, because what choice do you have, right? And I believe, my personal philosophy is you extend trust in order to receive trust. People who don't trust aren't trustworthy. You know, so trust is like a boomerang. You got to throw it out to get it back. The magic happens when you give it away. So you got to extend trust, and that's what they're doing as well with the dough. Now, what do they do with it? I think Black Lives Matter does well with the money. You know, if you make a few dollars and you live in a nice house because you started Black Lives Matter, you deserve it. Look at what you contributed.
Man,
you know,
look,
I
want to see
president
some
of Black
better
Lives Matter.
T-shirts. Do something. I mean, I want to see what y'all doing with. So I'm just saying.
But see, that little bit of money, if it's consolidated, it could maybe buy a couple Congress people, right? That, you know, maybe get some legislation, you know, if the liquor store's open or something of that nature. But it's not, you're not
The
gonna
liquor stores, Kenny.
change the world with that dough, right? You just have a few groups that will be able to remain in existence and cry with us.
Yes.
When terrible shit happens to us. But what's the plan to fix the situation of terrible shit happening to us? That, you know, $100 million don't fix that, because a lot of our problems have nothing to do with really. There's so much that we could fix internally, but you know, resources to affect the change. We just don't have access to a lot of the stuff that we need. Yeah. So.
All right. So to your point of what can we do to affect the change? Should we defund the police departments around the country? What does that mean, Kenny? So people are like freaking out, like, we need police. Don't take our police. They don't understand. So let the folks know what that really means.
Well, that's the thing, right? Different people might mean different things and have defined it differently. Kamala Harris had the definition that I saw. Yeah. So
sorry.
Kamala. I'm sorry, Kamala Harris.
I'm
right?
sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So Kamala Harris defined it as it's not getting rid of the police department in the model she described. It was more reappropriating some of the funding, right? So we've got a town right around here, right outside of my town, Doraville, Georgia. They got a tank. What the hell does a little town in Doraville? How you got tank money? What you need tank money for? Yeah. So you got tank money. You got money to send your police officers all the way over to Israel to train, and we wonder why they're killing us over here. You sending them to go train with people.
You train for war.
Right. And they in a war with the neighbor. So yeah, that's not the police department that we want. And so this militarized, everybody thinks they SWAT type of, you know, those budgets. So what the defunding does is it removes a lot of this excess funding. A lot of cities, your town, Chicago spends upwards of 40% of the city's budget just on the police force. Even as the population went down and crime went down, the spending on police continued to go up. What we've done is we've shifted all of the responsibility of having a compliant society onto the police, as opposed to social, you know, investing in things that improve the infrastructure and the society on whole. You know, where's the when you spend 40% of your money on the police department, the other 60% is now squeezed for all the other, you know, your trash, your water, all that stuff, your infrastructure for your whole town. So now where is the social issue? Where are the social causes? Where's the funding for parks? Where's the funding for after school programs that the city can do? You know, where's the funding for that kind of stuff? So the defunding means that you take some of that funding away from police departments so that you can reappropriate those funds to another area and avoid circumstances that require police departments to come and cops to show up with guns and chokeholds and Israeli training.
You said chokeholds.
In a tank, right?
They're coming with chokeholds.
Yeah, bringing them, right. They can't wait to practice to do chokehold.
Who wants a chokehold? Who wants a chokehold? Who wants one of these?
I was at SWAT Jiu-Jitsu last night, and I can't wait to go choke a brother. You know what I'm saying?
And WWF, I want to choke you out. Listen, let me tell you something, buddy. I'm going to choke you out from the top row. From the top.
Officer friendly.
Yo,
Whatever happened to
Kenny.
officer friendly?
Hey, he was out there with what's his name, Mr. Rogers. He ain't too
Nah.
friendly. Listen,
What did I call the other people? The Barackanites?
the Brockenites, yeah.
Yeah,
So listen,
yeah.
so about my city, you mentioned Chicago. So
Yeah.
Chicago has a $1.8 billion budget for the police department. So they secretly said, you know what?
They got jets. Your police department got bombers. $1.8 billion.
They got
for
Scud missiles for the brothers.
That's what I'm saying. What you?
Listen, it gets worse, sir. So they secretly, it was $33 million for policing in schools. They snatched that up, right? So they wanted to build a training academy that cost $98 million. So they snatched up $33 million to pay for policing in schools.
Yeah.
These resource officers, they snatched that up and they moved that over to their training academy, which is $98 million on the west side.
So
while the schools can't afford to have a nurse or a social worker.
Yeah.
So for you all listening, that's what defunding is all about. It's happened before in other cities. Camden, New Jersey,
Yep.
They disbanded their police department back in 2013, and they rehired about 100 officers. And 7 years later, their crime has been cut in half. So it's a matter of.
And did you see the Camden police during the protest?
No.
They showed up in the community and brought ice cream to the protesters and protested with them.
Come on, son.
What a turnaround. What a turnaround.
What
right?
a turnaround.
And here's the deal on crime as well, right? What a lot of people don't also realize, the folks that are afraid of repurposing the funding that goes to public safety, let's just call it. Let's not call it defunding the police. Let's just call it, reappropriating public safety funds. That's really all that it is. And shucks, I forgot what the heck my point was going to be now on that.
I got you, bro. $70 million was spent in police department overtime in Chicago last year. $70 million in overtime.
So good job if you can get it, man. I mean, that's how many cops do they have in Chicago? I know New York City has about 37,000 police officers.
I think Chicago only has like 13,000.
The Coast Guard of the United States Coast Guard only has 42,000 people. New York City has
how many in New York?
36,000 cops.
Wow.
And Chicago has 13,000 and 1.58 billion in spend.
Yes, and 1.8 billion and 77 million in overtime.
Right.
So overtime could be sitting in your car watching stuff.
Yeah. Now, I personally, I think that we need to pay police officers a whole hell of a lot more money.
Give them a strong base.
If I got to wear a bulletproof vest to work, you got to give me more than $35,000 a year. And I don't, and it not in overtime dollars, and not standard security in another bulletproof vest, right? And then you attract a different element. You attract folks who have student loans to pay off, as opposed to folks who don't have student loans to pay off. Because if I'm making $35,000 a year, I can't afford to work and be a cop, right? So you gotta spend where you want to attract, but you also have to leave funding for other initiatives that can reduce the requirement for police departments. So here's the point I was trying to make. And the point was that the police departments, a lot of them are also having to feed into a quota for the private prisons that are in your state. So these police departments are not necessarily a reflection of the amount of crime that is actually occurring, at least not violent crime that's occurring. The police departments are also a reflection of how many arrests need to be made in order to avoid the occupancy penalties that these states have when they take on these private prisons. So a private prison comes in and says, we'll take the, we'll handle the prison stuff for you, outsource it to us, but you have to guarantee us 90, 95, 100% occupancy. You're going to pay us $40,000, $44,000 a year to handle all these prisoners, each prisoner, instead of spending the $50,000 a year that you're making, that it costs you, so you save money. So we make $45,000 a year to take care of them, but then to make profit, we pimp them out to corporations, and they work for us. And then we make another $50, $60, $80, $100,000 a year per prisoner that you've allowed us to take in. When you don't have that occupancy rate filled, every bed, the state has to pay them for the money that they lost for that bed being empty. So when crime goes
Every
down,
bit.
when the crime goes down, 150. So I owe you the 100 that you would have made plus the 50 I would have gave you. So now I owe you 150,000 for that bed instead of 50,000 for the bed.
Wow.
So
That's broken. That's broken system, man.
yeah. So when crime goes down, they have to figure out a way to make more arrests. So now, remember back in the day when we were kids, if you were driving in the car with your friend and somebody had weed or even somebody had a gun, if nobody claimed the gun, the driver was going to jail, and that was the driver's gun. Now, if nobody claims the gun, everybody's charged, so that you can have 4.
Everybody. I could be sitting in the trunk.
That's right.
The dude in the trunk guilty too.
So
I was back here reading the Bible. Why am I going to jail?
so that I can have more arrests.
Yes.
And more convictions per crime instead of, because crime is going down, I need more bodies per crime. So those are the types of games that you played. So that breeds a different type of animal that we send out as a predator. I'll tell you what the super predators are, damn bad cops. That's the damn super predators Joe Biden was talking about. He didn't know which super predators he meant.
That ain't what he was talking. That ain't what he said though.
Because if we were super predators, those are some super duper predators. So
the super duper, they got capes. They can fly.
Look, we got nothing on them damn bad cops. We do drive-by, that kind of shit. I have yet to see the brother strangle another brother in camera in slow motion.
Ever.
Never seen it. Ever seen
Ever.
It. So
believe me, folks. Yeah. Believe me. Never.
Yeah, we're super predators. Those are super duper predators. But that's the thing, right? So now, and unfortunately as well, right? Most of these violent police departments, the notorious ones, they happen to be in Democrat-run cities, right? So at this particular point in time, in this climate, we have to seize the momentum and seize the opportunity right now, because when you defund, the first thing, the number one liability, you just pointed it out. How much? 1.8 billion, 77 million. That's labor. How much of that is labor?
Time.
So when I slash your funding by 25%, first thing that gets compressed, first thing the pressure is on in there is your labor cost. That's the number one driver of a business's cost, your labor. So
yes, sir.
They're not going to get rid of computers. They're not going to shut down police departments. They're not going to do it. They got to get rid of the labor. So now that becomes an opportunity to purge yourself of the worst of your worst. So now you give cities and municipalities and HR departments and the police union and labor relations boards, you give all those groups an opportunity to create a set of KPIs or metrics that they're going to measure by. You're going to kick people out over tenure, or you're going to kick people out over having 12, 13, 14, write-ups, strikes, like Derek Chauvin had. So that's with the defunding, it puts a financial pressure and it forces them to get rid of some cops. The question is, which cops do they get rid of? And I believe right now in this climate that they'll choose to get rid of the bad cops more than the young cops.
All right, sir. So I did the math. So if you can't see it or not, that's about $5,500 per officer. So that's 13,000 officers, $70 million. So if you spread it out, there's about $5,500 per year for each officer in Chicago for overtime.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like much per officer, but when you multiply that times 13,000.
Right.
But no, speaking of Chicago.
And not all the officers are getting that overtime. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So, it been that one that I'm an old dude.
Right.
He getting like 19, 20,000. He been there since 79.
Right.
Sir, you are on a walker. Why are you still trying to police people? And you in a walker getting out your car with a handicapped police car sticker. I didn't know they made those.
I'm getting the bag.
Hey, look here. I need you to go ahead and show me your license right quick. I don't want no problems, nothing, I don't want no. Let me see your license, sugar. Hold on. when you was born, you know what I'm saying? All right. So listen. As we talk about Chicago, sir, I need you to break this down for the folks. Last week, 85 people were shot.
Yeah.
They were not across the country supporting our brother George Floyd. They were in Chicago trying to get gas, go on to McDonald's, sit on their porch. 85 people. Take your time, brother. Take your time, because I need to go. I need to get some more water. So I need you to break this down. So 85 people were shot in Chicago last weekend. 24 were killed. Fortunately, they don't have good training in how to use weapons. it would have been a higher kill rate. But I'm saying, in either case, Chicago said that was one of the most deadliest weekends in the history of Chicago. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm from
I
Chicago.
don't know, Valentine's Day massacre, but go ahead.
No, sir. We're talking about over time, historically,
Yeah.
people being shot on a regular basis for no reason because it was over 85 degrees in Chicago.
Yeah. That's
So,
yeah, I don't know what's up with Chicago, man.
no, sir. Let me ask you this. So let me finish. Are we going to protest? Are we going to riot? Are we going to make T-shirts? Are we going to sit back and say, it's crazy out here, bruh? I'll be right back. Talk about that, sir.
I don't know what you do about 85 people getting shot
in one weekend.
In a weekend, man. That's but you know, I don't know what that is all about, man. I think that there are several factors going on here, man. Some of it is environmental, some of it is just trauma. I don't know. Chicago, every week you can bank on 50 shootings in a weekend, 25 shootings, 40 shootings in a weekend. You bank on, you can set your clock by it. And yeah, you're right. It's and then a lot of folks think it, you know, when you go to point that out, it looks like you're deflecting from or excusing, you know, other inappropriate behavior by other parties. But that's no protests, no marches, no nothing, just ignored. And that's an argument that doesn't bode well for us. It doesn't get us a lot of respect from others, but at the same time, you know, that's internal. That doesn't mean that, you know, cops supposed to be doing it, but that's not what you're saying. But that's
right. So we don't have answers. So
talking about it.
So I would like to say, I'm glad you asked me. This is all we got to do to fix 85 people getting shot in our community. I don't have an answer for that. So because
I do have an answer.
Okay, what's the answer?
Hope.
Like keep hope alive?
No. You
keep hope alive.
Well, seriously, right? If someone has nothing to live for, man, they'll die for anything at that point. You got to give people something to live for, and people that are that reckless and that dangerous, there's something that's missing in there, and you gotta. It's not that it doesn't have to be your fault to be your problem, though, right? It has to be resolved, because otherwise, you got a major city in Chicago, and just being born black there, it's a threat. And then even if you survive, even if you don't get shot, living under that trauma, living under that stress, living under that strain all the time, your whole life, that has other side effects that also, you know, post-traumatic stress syndrome and all that other kind of stuff. So something has to be done. And I think it's, you know, again, it goes back to, look, we're going to talk about it in a minute, Bob Johnson. I think Bob Johnson got a great solution. If $14 trillion got dropped and every black person in America got $350,000,
in Chicago, this is what's gonna happen. Let me get that 14 trillion, bro.
Yeah,
I know you got the check, man. I need your check. I'm just saying, it's Chicago.
I'll get somebody. But you know what? Here's the deal, though, too, right? Here's the deal, too. I was looking up just looking up data, and about half of the murder victims in the country are black men, and about half of the murder.
You sound like Candace Owens right now.
No, we're half of the victims, and we're half of the we commit half of the murders. Now,
my girl Candace Owens.
There's also an interesting story. There's been a study that's been done, and it's very, very interesting. And the correlation between lead exposure and violent crime, and it's almost identical. The curve that when there is if a society has let's say a society has a lead exposure, right, it's going up, and the lead exposure, if they clean it up and it goes down, what they find a generation later is that the violent crime rate follows the identical path. So children who are born in environments where there is a heavy concentration of lead, they found this as well in youngsters who've been incarcerated for violent crimes. Those kids had 4 times the lead level in their body than kids who had never been arrested and never been to prison. So there's something to do. There's some correlation. And cities and towns that had a sharper decline in their lead, divestment, they saw a rapid decline, the identical decline in violent crime, when those children grew up. So you can tie it. It's like 20 years later, this is what the crime rate looks like. So in Chicago, and I was doing a little study on this because this was back when I did a little thing on why black people always giving our guns back. Nobody else gives, every time they give a gun back for a Toys R Us thing, it's always in a black neighborhood. Black people, give us your guns back. We'll give you a Popeye's chicken sandwich. We're giving out Popeye's chicken sandwiches for guns on Simpson Road.
Chicken from Popeyes.
The corner of Simpson Avenue and Martin Luther King Boulevard. We're giving out Popeye's chicken sandwiches for your pistols. Popeye's for pistols, ladies and gentlemen.
And they are lined up with all their guns. They show up with tanks.
That's what I'm saying.
Here go my baby daddy tank. Can I get my sandwich?
I'm anti give my gun away. I'm anti give the guns up, right? So no matter what. So I'm always wondering, why are you trying to take? Why you always in black neighborhoods? Take it to Appalachia. Go take some of them damn guns. The way you're taking black people's guns. So, but in that discussion, it was, well,
that's a great point, Kenny.
Black people are killing black people with these guns. Like, yeah, black people kill black people with these guns, but why? What is it that pushes us to violence? And so I did a little more research. Turns out that as cities are fixing their water supply systems, right? In an old ass city like Chicago, those pipes are rusted the hell out. Lead all
1918.
Yo, so when a pipe bursts, right? And they're working with the jackhammers, and then they're cutting it with the blade, all that shit. Bro, that's shaking all the lead up in the pipe all the way down. Then when they fix it and repair it and the water flushes through, that lead goes right through. So the filters on that water in those systems, they don't invest in the filters in our neighborhoods. Other neighborhoods get that filter investment. We don't necessarily get the filter investment. So I would bet that in Chicago, that if you tested most of the people that you would find lead in that water in their supply system, same as like Flint, Michigan. It's not like it can't. It's not like it's crazy to be happening in the country. Flint, Michigan, still drinking toilet water.
Their water is still brown. If you're drinking water and toilet paper in it, it ain't clean.
Right.
So Kenny, if I'm hearing you correctly, Brother Kenny, you're saying that systemic racism is the reason that our people are drinking toilet water.
Yeah, not just our people, everybody's drinking. It's capitalism is the reason everybody's drinking toilet water.
It's about the numbers, okay.
It's about the numbers. So you've got to be competitive in a capitalist system if you want to survive in a capitalist system. If you don't want to be drinking the toilet water, you need to be smart with your money and get yourself out of toilet water city. Because it's the mayors, the governors, if you wait on them to fix it, they're the ones who did it. They made the decision to let that water go that way. So, but that's what I like about Brother Bob. We're going to talk about him in a minute. But
we're talking about him right now.
Yeah.
Well, Brother Bob Johnson.
Yeah.
Mr. BET of the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah. Donnie Simpson's daddy.
So
Video Soul.
Let your soul
America's
go.
first black billionaire.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was him. Yes.
Bob Johnson, not Don Johnson.
Yes. He was Donnie Simpson.
Miami Vice. Yeah, Donnie Simpson. Yeah, Bob Johnson. Yeah. So Bob Johnson.
His Jerry curl was always really nice. I like how it was like faded on the side.
Light-skinned eyes. Like that was later seasons. That was later seasons.
Who's your girl? Your dude from Cool in the Gang? The dude, the lead singer.
Oh,
he had that look going on, but Donnie Simpson was always so smooth and cool.
Yeah. They used to pretend they was Play Brothers.
Bob Johnson, let's go. Talk about.
So Bob Johnson is like seriously pitching for $14 trillion for the descendants of slaves in America, and in the form of cash. Like no welfare. Keep your welfare. You already spending a bunch of money up on us. Instead of giving us welfare and Section 8 and all that stuff, give us the cash and then add to that $14 trillion. I don't know if you're going to spend it over 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years to give it to us, but $14 trillion of money, cash, capital, put to every descendant of a slave. In the math he did, it's about 42 million. So that would be about $350,000 per person, per black person in the United States, who's not like a first descendant, third descendant of family that moved here from Africa. But if you are a descendant of a slave in the United States, like
how do you determine that who is a direct descendant? How do you determine that?
I don't know how they go about determining that, but I can prove which plantation we came from. I know which plantation my family's from. I know the exact plantation. It's in Maryland.
Everybody gonna say the same thing. Yep.
You can.
My uncle was a slave.
Well, everybody was.
Sir, your uncle was 47.
Right.
He was not a slave.
Right.
Everybody gonna be lying.
Who cares? Who cares?
Kenny, no, I am not down with every black person getting $350,000.
Because you're a hater.
No, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm a hater because I tried to get my glasses from LensCrafter today here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get them because they were boarded up because a week and a half ago, folks decided, oh, I don't like what y'all did to George Floyd, so I'm gonna break in a LensCrafter and mess it up so Pat can get his glasses because that is how you show equality. No.
So that's why. So you putting black people on punishment for breaking LensCrafter. Now you don't get your reparations.
DeAndre should get $355,000.
That's what your ass get.
He gonna have 13 Dodge Challengers in his driveway.
No reparations for you.
Bruh.
You sound like Uncle Ruckus, man. Look, I don't care what DeAndre do.
So you're telling me every black person should get $350,000?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Why not? Why not?
Because they lost their mind over $1,200.
Right. Why? And the reason they lost their mind over $1,200 is because we're so used to being broke. Now, think about this, right? George Floyd died over $20. Alton Sterling, CDs, died over what? $40?
All right. Yeah.
That in Louisiana, right? Choked out over the selling the CDs. Eric Garner selling loose
cigarettes.
How much he gonna make on that? $50?
$5.
So for under $200, 3 black men lost their lives, right? For $200, really. Now imagine if each one of those black men had $500 in their pocket. You ain't out there selling loosies if you got $500 in your pocket and you own a house. And your kids are in college. You don't have to. It's a different lifestyle. Because here's the deal, right? Think about this,
bruh.
The reparations, right? There is a definition for reparations. There is a purpose for reparations. And reparations has a definition by chance, right? And it is about making amends for a wrong that you've committed to someone, and you have to make the amends in a financial way. The Germans did it for the Jewish people after what they did to them.
Yes, they did. They did.
The Native Americans, they've got
Obama made sure they were good.
Well, no, even before that, they had reparations. It's a slap. It's nothing.
They got the casinos.
The Native American casinos make more money than all of the African American businesses put together. Just FYI, right?
Easy.
And there are in certain states, like in Oklahoma, if I'm understanding correctly, there are the Choctaw Indians. If you can prove that you are a Choctaw Indian, they have land set aside for you and build you a house.
Oh shit, I'm Indian. Shit, I'm
That's
Indian.
What I'm saying. So it's not unheard of. The Japanese all got $100,000 for being put in an internment camp for a couple of weeks, for a couple of years, just an internment camp for a couple of years. So what do you owe the descendants of a people who you enslaved? Hold up, who you enslaved, and then after enslavement, then Jim Crow, right? Then after Jim Crow, then you redline. And here's the reason that the redlining is a problem, because with the redlining is the number one way that you transfer wealth to your next generation is through home ownership. And
property. Yes,
we were excluded from that. We were excluded from that.
I agree.
We were forced into areas, even the best black neighborhoods in Sugar Hill and Harlem. You couldn't. Duke Ellington lived there. All the it was back in that day. That was the place to be. That was the Atlanta. Harlem was Atlanta at the at that era. You couldn't even, banks wouldn't give a loan for a house over there. But in white neighborhoods, and then the laws said that these houses can only be sold to the race intended. So this is the Federal Housing Authority, or what became the Federal Housing Authority. So these are the rules and the laws. The white people went to World War and came back and got into home ownership. Black people came back and got nothing. So that gives them an advantage that we missed out on. If we all believe that we're created equal, right? If we're all equal, let's say we're all equal. We'll give that. So let's say equal means we all run 5 miles an hour. And if we're all running 5 miles an hour in this race, and it's a competition, and you get a 200-year head start, and then, or a 50-year head start.
A 200-year head start.
And then I'm trying to chase you down, and I'm running the same 5 miles an hour as you, I'll never catch you because we're equal. So I can't catch you if you got a head start and we're equal. So the only thing you can do is to even the playing field. And the transfer of wealth that occurred from our ancestors to this country by donating all of their labor and their entire lives and their children and the economic and the emotional toll that we've also endured and incurred. we are owed this, the same as the Germans recognize what they owe the Jewish people, the same as the United
Right,
States recognize
right.
that they owe the Native Americans. And we don't want to take the Rudy Poot reparations that is the worst class version of reparations.
Right.
There's a real ask out there. And $14 trillion is not a lot of money. They just gave $6 trillion to these corporations without even thinking about it.
Absolutely.
That, believe you me, they didn't come up with $6 trillion in a matter of 3 weeks. And they were down to their last 6 trillion. They ain't even down to their last 1,000 trillion, 100
A
trillion.
lot of zeros left.
That's exactly right. So you got 14 for us. And then here's what are we gonna do with it? Most of us are gonna spend it and put it right back into their economy. But
Right.
a lot of us, if enough of us have access to the capital, we don't have to go to the banks. We can pool our own resources. We got real money to start banks.
Right.
And remember, it's money that owns politicians. And we're broke, basically. So we don't have any funding. We don't have the dough to own the politicians so that they write legislation that is in favor of us. So
Brother
we've got to
Kenny.
get some kind of reparations at some point in time to
Yes,
get
brother.
caught up.
Brother
Not
Kenny,
an apology from Bill Clinton.
Brother Kenny, we are on the same page. However,
Yeah.
I think before you give every person that has melanin in their skin
Not melanin.
300, no.
Descendants of
Let's
slaves. Totally different thing. Descendants of slaves in the United States.
How do you prove that? Everybody gonna say,
Don't worry
well,
about I can prove it. I don't know how you gonna prove it. Don't get mad at me because you ain't gonna get your money. I'm gonna get mine.
I will get my money,
I'm
sir.
gonna
What
get
I'm
mine.
saying is, let's make sure that money does not go to everyone that's going to buy 17 Dodge Chargers.
I don't care what
Or
they're gonna do with their money.
uh,
I don't care what
a lot
you
of
know. What
weed.
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
do.
saying,
You know what
the
I'm gonna do with my money? You know what I'm gonna do with my money? I'm gonna pool with you and 10 other brothers, and we're gonna open up a Dodge
that's
Challenger
you.
store. And we're gonna
You
open up a
just
Dodge
said
Challenger store.
Everybody should get the money.
And
You
the
know
money
how to do
stays-
it.
And the money stays in the black community.
Everybody is not you, sir.
And the money stays in the black community. That's what
You're
you gotta
not
do.
everybody.
I don't have to be
Kenny,
everybody. It
You
doesn't
are
take
not the
everybody.
norm, sir.
Do
I'm
you
just
think-
saying.
are Is Jeff Bezos the norm? Is Donald
No.
Trump the norm? Right. No, it's not about the norm. It's about giving
Everybody
everybody an
that's
opportunity.
black cannot get a check for 350,000.
They
I'm
won't.
saying
They probably won't.
anything, Kenny. Okay, I'm with you to the point. Okay, so if we agree that reparations
But
are
what-
due,
What business is it of yours if every black person gets $350,000? Why are you
you
so
just
offended?
said.
But why are you so
Prove
offended?
you are a descendant of a slave. You get a check
Why are you so offended by black people who are descendants of slaves getting a check?
because DeAndre and Starkeisha don't need $350,000.
Who? Says who?
Me?
Who you?
How about your boy? I
Who
said
you?
it. You got a
Starkeisha.
phone number?
Get his ass. Get his
Sir,
ass, Starkeisha.
Ain't nobody scared. Hey,
Get
what's
his
up?
ass.
What's up, Kenny?
Get his ass, Starkeisha.
Sir.
LaFunya. Get him.
Starkeisha will buy 14 million weeds.
Sardinia. Get him.
Hey, and DeAndre will buy 14,000 Dodge Chargers.
Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that.
I got a problem with that. So, whoa, time out. I think if we're going to do that, the money should go to black businesses, to black HBCUs. So make sure that the money goes someplace to someone like you
No.
that
because in a
knows how
capitalist
to make
society-
sure. No.
In a
Give me 10
capitalist society-
seconds.
no,
Can I
it
get
doesn't
10
work.
seconds?
Go ahead.
Kenny, can I get 10 seconds? A portion goes to you because you will make sure that money goes to the right place in the black community, not blindly just throwing the money to the black community.
No,
Because everyone does not know how to use that money, Kenny.
It don't make a difference. It don't make a difference if somebody knows how to use their money. Who are you to determine what I do with my money? It's none of your business. Mind your business.
You will make sure the money is used the right
How
way.
you know what I'm gonna do? None of your business.
Because I know
what I'ma
you.
do.
I know you, Kenny.
You don't know what I'm gonna do. You don't know what I'm gonna do. No, you ain't never seen me with 350,000 cash in my pocket. You don't know what I'm
I've
gonna do.
known you for 30 years, sir.
You don't know what I'm. You ain't known me for 30 years with $350,000 in my pocket, and my
That's
brother got
true.
$350,000 in his pocket, and my other brother got $350,000 in his pocket, and my sister got $350,000 in her pocket, and my mother got $350,000. Not my mother. My father got $350,000 in his pocket. My son got $350,000 in his pocket. My in-laws got $350,000. You don't know me with that situation. We don't know each other in that situation. So
Okay.
that's what we deserve. We are not crippled in the sense that we can't do. We're crippled in the sense we're not allowed to do. This is a capitalist society. If you don't have capital, you're at the mercy of everybody else. You got to have capital. And if there's so the money has to come into our hands in the form of capital. Let us get into home ownership. Let us be able to invest in our own businesses, our own communities. And
Kenny.
there are a lot of good ideas but we don't get to the front of the line, and we can't be
Kenny.
giving it to businesses and hope they're gonna be nice. What's a business goal?
Black
It don't make a difference.
businesses.
The law in the United States says that a business's responsibility is to turn a profit, not to. So if you give them $300 billion, what
Billion? Wait, whoa.
Bro,
One business?
Yeah, I don't know which one you're going to give it to, but you're going to give all this business money away to the businesses. What are they going to do with it?
Kenny.
What are they going to do with it? Buy big houses? And you're going to trust them, but you don't trust LaQuisha, but you trust the boule.
If Starkeisha is 17 years old.
You trust the black boule that they're going to look out for Starkeisha.
Listen, I think a true investment with this money would be to ensure that the future of black folks will be secure with college and
You pay for your own
education.
college, you got $350,000. If I don't want to go to college,
If I'm 17, I ain't trying to go to college, and you give me a check for $350,000.
what's the #1 educated demographic in the United States of America? Which demographic has more education per person than any other demographic in America?
Share with us, sir.
African American women are the #1 educated
That's why I
demographic
love
in the
them.
country.
Yes.
Who's the lowest paid demographic in this country? African American
Black
women
males.
are the lowest. No, African American women make less than black men on average. So that being the case, the correlation between the assumption that college education equals money is blown out of the water. The most educated demographic in our country is also the lowest paid demographic in our country. African Americans were completely illiterate. It was illegal for us to learn. So we went from completely illiterate to where we can all read now, but we don't own any more of the country's wealth than we did when we were illiterate. So literacy and education in and of themselves are not the solution. We're proof of that. There has to be an investment in financial. That's what reparations is about. That's why they do it. So if you give it to the businesses, you have a situation just like you had with the Native Americans, where the guys that own the casino own the reservation, but everybody else is still broke, and the country already broke y'all off. So sorry about that. Your leadership structure that we gave the money to, we easily control them.
To your point, sir, the Native Americans were able to open up casinos. They didn't give checks to 12-year-old Native Americans. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So in this same society, where 10 days ago here in Atlanta, people decided, well, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead in Chicago and Detroit and DC and Jacksonville, I'm gonna go ahead and destroy my own neighborhood because I can. So you trust that person, that decides to destroy his own neighborhood because he can, to go and take cell phones from a black business, to go into the only black bodega in New York, to steal and pillage because he can. You trust that person to get $350,000 because you think they should get that. Everybody's not ready to understand.
That was white people going in there and doing all that shit. So no, they don't count.
Sir, I got video in Chicago
they don't
in
get
the
hood.
hood.
That's the white people.
That is the same color as your hair.
That was the white people.
They ain't white.
So
they dark skinned white. They ain't white.
To answer that question,
they ain't white.
To answer that question, I have absolutely no problem with them getting the money. Because I don't have to I don't have to trust you with your money. It's none of my business what you do with your money. You too nosy. You all in other people's business. Nosy ass. Worried about somebody else doing with their damn money. Looking down your nose at somebody.
All right, so Kenny. So do you want
somebody's
DeAndre,
somebody's gonna take their $350,000 to go and buy a Bentley and pull it.
And how does that promote the cause of black people, sir? I'll wait.
That individual doesn't have to promote the cause of black people. But when every black person has $350,000 in reparations, bro, it's a different ball game.
Bro,
cut off welfare.
When DeAndre is shown, sir.
No more welfare.
When DeAndre is shown.
No more Section 8. $350,000 per black person. Education. And a trade agreement, just like NAFTA or like the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. You establish a trade agreement between the United States and Africa, and we rebuild African nations because they got robbed too as part of this reparations package. And you put manufacturing there, and we have distribution here, and we own the whole food chain from manufacturing to distribution the way the Asians do. Yeah, I think that's a plan, man.
Right. Yeah, right, brother.
You know
Yeah, brother.
You know what?
Right on,
Let me write
solid,
Donald
solid,
Trump.
brother.
Let me write Kanye with that one.
All right, so yeah, Kanye phone is charging right now. So if you show DeAndre how to take that same money instead of him buying 12 Bentleys, and you teach him at a HBCU how to take a business of luxury vehicles around the country, who says no to that? Because he doesn't know the value of money. So if we give, you hire him after go, because the HBC.
Who's hiring him? Who's hiring him? Who's got the lowest unemployment rate? Which corporation is he going to?
You trying
Which
to give him
go to? You gave all the money to the businesses. You gave all the money to businesses.
DeAndre got weed and cocaine in his back pocket right now. You about to give him a check and say, "Do you?" I'm saying, don't give him a check to do you.
In his back pocket right now is because he got no money. Because his
the dope boys on the corner, you finna get him a check. The dope boys finna get paid by Kenny B.
Yeah. No, they don't got to be dope boys no more.
Teach them how to.
You think people want to be dope boys just because they like getting shot at? That's just
they know no better. But I'm saying you have an opportunity to show them. You know what? This little corner, you can do something much bigger, broader, and build on your legacy. They want that. They just don't know. If you don't know, now you know. So Kenny B, what's our time? What's our time?
You want to send the dope boys to the HBCU? That's your solution.
Who made them dope boys?
It's a system.
They weren't born dope boys.
Hunger make you a lot of shit.
Sir, how we doing with time?
It's time is still moving.
We good?
Yeah, we're about to. I don't know. Yeah, good. So. All right, let's wrap it up. We got to talk about Donald Trump.
Wrap it up.
Because Donald Trump, the most hated person in the world.
You said he fixed everything.
I don't know who fixed it. I didn't say he fixed it. That's the question. Did Donald Trump fix the economy and cure Corona? Because if Corona don't come back strong after all these protests, apparently it's gone.
You just told me in 14 states, it's back with a vengeance.
In those states. By their version of vengeance, they got 60 people got it now. That's their vengeance. That's they stretching. It's like Horry County, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
We got 12 people.
That's what they're advertising. That's front page news. 13 of them now. 13 today.
Oh Lord, we got 13 people.
So Texas is at its highest point ever 2 days in a row. So spring break may have did something, but it's obviously a disease and it's contagious. But
that's so true.
If all these states open back up and it hasn't taken off spreading again like it was, and I'm watching people out here with masks, no masks, left and right. They're looking at me like I'm the crazy person for wearing a mask. And I'm watching my town's numbers, and it's not increasing. And it's no mask. Y'all sitting around here eating, laughing, coughing on each other and shit, and nobody's getting sick. So I'm hoping that it was a hoax, because if it's a hoax, it's better than a pandemic. But if it was a hoax, I'm mad at who pulled the hoax, because now they're talking about it'll be end of 2020 we should be back down to 10%.
Yeah, that's Fauci. I don't trust Tony.
No. I'm talking about the unemployment numbers. They're saying that by the end of the year we'll be back down to 10% unemployment. So
you said the Nasdaq was at 10,000, and unemployment is down to 13%.
For the first time ever, the Nasdaq closed at the highest ever. He's got that the economy has come all the way back to the point where there is no money lost at this point. So after that drop off, it has recovered. That's some crazy shit. Because for everything that everybody says about the dude, he's crazy. He does all this other shit. He locked in. That economy's fixed.
So we're against a hard line here. So we'll talk in a couple of days. I went out to vote today.
Oh yeah.
It was a challenge, and I understand the same thing in Alpharetta. So smoke and mirrors. We're against the clock. We are back in like 2 or 3 days. Kenny B, tell the folks good before they leave.
Don't be a sucker.